I was studying English when you called me. I was studying English when he called. He was watching TV when I arrived. What were you doing when the power went out? I was cooking when the phone rang. I wasn't paying attention when the teacher was explaining the homework. Were you listening to the radio this morning? When were you born? I was taking a bath at 6. I was studying English when you called me. He was watching TV when I arrived. We were having lunch when the electricity went out. They were playing tennis when it started to rain. I was preparing dinner when the phone rang. We were having dinner when the electricity went out. I was taking a shower when the phone rang. I was studying for my exam when you called me. I was doing my homework when the power went out. I was getting ready for bed when the phone rang. I was taking a shower when the earthquake happened. I was studying for my exam when the power went out. We were eating when the electricity went out. I was doing my homework when the phone rang. They were playing football when it started to rain. I was watching TV when the phone rang. I was studying for my exam when he called. I was cooking when the electricity went out. I was taking a bath when the earthquake happened. I was getting dressed for my date when the doorbell rang. I was doing my homework when the fire started. I was asleep when the baby woke up. I was on my way to work when my tire punctured. I was on my way to the market when I saw the accident. I was sitting at my desk when I heard the explosion. I was studying when he called. I was walking to work when I saw the accident. They were playing football when the storm started. We were studying for our exams when the power went out. The sun was setting when I left the office. I was on my way home when I got the news. They were having dinner when the electricity went out. We were talking on the phone when the hurricane hit. I was getting ready for bed when the earthquake started. I was doing the dishes when you asked me out. He was studying for his exam when his phone rang. He was watching TV when I called him. We were eating when the phone rang. He was taking a shower when the earthquake struck. We were asleep when the fire alarm went off. When the news came, they were studying for their exams. I was getting ready for bed when I heard a noise from outside. He was working in the garden when the bees attacked him. I was studying English when my friends called me. I was studying English when the electricity went out. I was washing the dishes when the phone rang. I was studying for my exams when the earthquake happened. We were sleeping when the fire started. They were arguing when I left the room. I was cooking when he came home. We were cleaning the house when the guests came. I was having lunch when I saw a mouse. I was studying for my exam when my power went out. I was taking a shower when I heard a noise from downstairs. I was getting ready for bed when I realized I forgot my phone at work. I was cooking dinner when the smoke alarm went off. I was walking to the store when I saw a $20 bill on the floor. I was about to leave for my date when I realized I had no money. I was sitting in traffic when my tire punctured. I was lying in bed when I heard a noise outside. I was watching TV when the power went out. What were you doing at 9 o'clock this morning? I was having breakfast when the phone rang. She was ironing when she got home. We were playing tennis when it started to rain. They were having a party when the police arrived. What was he doing when he saw her? I wasn't working when you called. Were you asleep when I knocked on your door? I was watching TV when the power went out. I was watching TV when he called. He was preparing dinner when I arrived. We were playing cards when the power went out. I was studying for my exam when you called. They were sleeping when the fire started. They were eating when I called them. We were playing tennis when it started to rain. He was doing his homework when I called him. They were out when I called them. We were sleeping when the earthquake happened. I was working when you called me. I was cooking when he came. I was doing my homework when the earthquake happened. We were sitting in the park when it started to rain. They were having a party when the police arrived. I was cooking when the electricity went out. He was driving when the accident happened. We were walking home when we saw the cat. They were playing chess when the fire started. I was sleeping when the earthquake happened. He was working when I called him. He was watching TV all day. They were not listening to the teacher. I wasn't paying attention. You weren't very helpful. He wasn't very friendly. He wasn't behaving very well. We were working for our test when the power went out. They were playing video games when I got home. The sun was shining brightly. The wind was blowing slowly. Birds were singing happily. The flowers were swaying in the wind. They were eating when the phone rang. I was taking a shower when the power went out. They were watching a movie when the earthquake happened. I was working on my computer when the power went out. He was taking a shower when the phone rang. I was eating when he called. He was watching TV when the electricity went out. I was studying when you called. I was doing my homework when the earthquake started. He was taking a bath when I heard the explosion. I was working on my car when he came. I was taking a shower when the water stopped. We were having lunch when the electricity went out. I was working on my project when he called. I was cooking dinner when the fire alarm went off. I was doing laundry when the geyser exploded. We were having a party when the police came. I was asleep when the fire alarm went off. They were driving when they crashed. They were eating when I saw them. He was doing his homework when I saw him. They were talking on the phone when I arrived. We were watching a movie when it happened. I was working on my project when he called me. He was asleep when I left the house. He was driving to work when he crashed. I was taking a shower when I heard the phone ringing. They were watching TV when the earthquake started. I was playing football. You were studying for your exam. She was cooking dinner. We were watching a movie. They were talking on the phone. I was doing laundry when the phone rang. You were studying for your exam when I called. I was cooking when the fire started. They were out when I got home. I was getting dressed when he came. We were sitting in the park when it started to snow. He was taking a shower when the phone rang. They were arguing when the police arrived. I was working in the garden when I saw the snake. We were talking on the phone when the earthquake happened. I was studying for my exam when my mom called. I was about to leave when he came. Examples. I was cooking dinner when the power went out. We were in the car when we crashed. They were walking home when the thief took his bag. I was studying for my exams when I got sick. He was looking for his keys when he found the money. I was having lunch when the phone rang. He was doing his homework when his mother called. We were watching movies when the power went out. I was getting dressed when I heard the news. He was sleeping when the earthquake happened. We were on our way to the shop when we saw the accident. They were walking home from school when the dog attacked them. I was washing the dishes when I dropped the plate. He was removing the food when he found the cat. He was playing video games when his father came home. We were getting ready for bed when we heard the noise. They were taking a bath when the geyser exploded. I was doing my hair when the hurricane hit. He was sleeping when the house burned down. We were going to the party when we got lost. They were playing in the park when the stranger approached them. I was cleaning my room when I found the money. She was doing laundry when she realized she was running out of detergent. He was playing basketball when he sprained his ankle. We were in the park when it started to rain. They were having a picnic when the ants started biting them. I was getting ready for my date when my car broke down. She was taking a shower when she heard someone break into her house. We were on our way to the mall when our tire blew. They were walking home from school when the bully pushed them away. I was doing my homework when my pencil broke. He was studying for his exam when he fell asleep. I was taking a bath when the phone rang. He was mowing the lawn when the snake bit him. We were playing in the pool when the storm came. They were camping in the forest when the bear attacked their tent. He was taking out the trash when he found the cat. We were getting ready for bed when we heard a noise outside. They were watching TV when the electricity went out. I was washing the dishes when I broke the plate. He was lifting food while lowering the milk. He was cooking when I saw him. We were playing when they came. I was sleeping when he came. They were talking when I saw them. I was reading when he came. We were walking when it started to rain. I was waiting for you when you came. They were playing football when it started to rain. He was running when he saw the dog. I was preparing lunch when the power went out. I was studying for my exam when my best friend called. Examples. I was watching TV when the phone rang. I was taking a shower when I heard a noise from outside. I was getting ready for bed when I heard a car coming. I was sweeping the floor when the doorbell rang. I was taking out the trash when I saw a cat. I was walking to school when I saw a rabbit. I was studying for my exam when I heard a noise outside. I was getting dressed when I heard someone knock on the door. I was brushing my teeth when I heard a noise from downstairs. I was having breakfast when I heard the school bus coming. I was wearing my shoes when I heard a noise from outside. I was walking to the shop when I saw a dog. I was washing the dishes when I heard a noise. They were playing cards when the earthquake struck. We were eating when the phone rang. They were playing football when it started to rain. We were talking on the phone when the power went out. I was getting dressed when the power went out. They were doing their homework when the electricity went out. They were swimming when the tsunami hit. You were sleeping when the fire started. We were working when the earthquake happened. They were driving when the hurricane hit. I was cooking when there was a gas leak. We were having lunch when the phone rang. I didn't pay attention when you told me. You weren't listening when I explained it to you. He wasn't looking where he was going when he hit the tree. When the teacher asked him a question, he was not paying attention. We weren't paying attention when the speaker changed the slide. We weren't working hard. You weren't listening to me. They were playing games. I was driving when I saw the accident. We were having a great time until you came. We were on our way to the mall when we got lost. They were walking home from school when it started to rain. We were sitting in the park when the bees attacked. They were having lunch when we saw them. We were playing football when it started to rain. They were getting dressed when we went. We were brushing our teeth when the earthquake struck. I was cooking dinner when the fire started. He was washing the dishes when he got home. I was getting ready to go to bed when the doorbell rang. I was doing the laundry when he came home. He was watching TV when the electricity went out. We were having a picnic when it started to rain. They were playing football when the earthquake happened. I was watching TV when he called. He was studying for his exam when I saw him. They were playing football when the match was cancelled. I was doing my homework when the dog started barking. We were having lunch when it started to rain. They were playing tennis when the storm started. We were doing nothing when they arrived. I was preparing dinner when the phone rang. I was about to go to work when I realized I forgot my keys at home. I was walking to the shop when I saw a cat in the tree. I was watching TV when the power went out. Examples. He was driving when the accident happened. We were watching TV when the electricity went out. We were sleeping when the thief came in. I was working when I got the news. He was walking to work when he saw the accident. They were having lunch when I saw them. He was taking a bath when I got home. I was studying for my exams when the fire alarm went off. He was sleeping when I went to work. Did you listen when I told you to turn off the lights? You weren't paying attention when I told you to be careful. What was he doing when he broke his leg? He wasn't interested when I asked a question. They were talking on the phone when the earthquake happened. I was washing the dishes when I heard the cracking. I was sleeping when the fire started. The sun was shining and the birds were singing. The flowers bloomed and the bees buzzed. The leaves were rustling and the wind was blowing. He was walking when he saw the accident. They were eating when the electricity went out. We were playing when it started to rain. I was cooking when the phone rang. He was playing tennis when I saw him. We were having a party when the power went out. He was taking a shower when the doorbell rang. We were doing our homework when the fire started. They were asleep when the hurricane hit. I was driving when I had an accident. He was walking to school when the dog bit him. I was washing the dishes when I heard about the accident. She was walking down the street when she was hit by a car. He was on the phone when the hurricane hit. I was taking a shower when the water stopped. I was doing laundry when the dog started barking. They were playing football when it started to rain. You were sleeping when the earthquake started. They were on their way to the airport when their car broke down. They weren't working hard. Examples. I was getting dressed when I heard a noise from outside. I was doing laundry when the pipe burst. I was studying for my exams when the power went out. I was working on my project when my computer crashed. I was about to leave when I realized I forgot my keys at home. I was playing tennis when it started to rain. I was walking to school when I saw a snake. I was asleep when the phone rang. I was studying for my test when my pencil ran out of lead. I was on the phone when the hurricane hit. I was taking a bath when the kettle exploded. I was doing my homework when the dog ate it. I was raking leaves when I found a $20 bill. I was cleaning my room when I found a spider. I was looking for my keys when I found them in the freezer. I was going to the market when I saw a penny on the floor. I was getting ready for work when I realized I was running out of gas. I was on my way to school when my tire punctured. I was doing a test when I realized I forgot my calculator at home. I was studying for my final exams when I got a call from my parents. I was working in my car when the engine caught fire. I was taking a shower when I heard someone broke into my house. I was eating lunch when I realized I forgot my wallet at home. I was at the cinema when I realized I forgot my phone at home. I saw a dog walking around the park without a leash. I was at a friend's house when I realized I forgot my keys at home. I was at the beach when I realized I forgot to put on sunscreen. I was at the pool when I realized I forgot my towel at home. I was at a baseball game when I realized I forgot my hat at home. I was in the library when I realized I forgot my books at home. I was at the gym when I realized I forgot my water canteen at home. I was at the grocery store when I realized I forgot my wallet at home. I was getting dressed for school when I realized I forgot to brush my teeth. I was wearing my shoes when I realized that I forgot to wear socks. I was about to go to school when I realized that I forgot my backpack. I was walking to school when I realized I forgot my lunch. I was in class when I realized that I forgot to do my homework. I was taking a test when I realized I had forgotten to study. I was playing games when I realized I forgot to eat dinner. I was watching a movie when I realized that I forgot to take a shower. I was sleeping when I realized that I forgot to brush my teeth. I was lying in bed when I realized I forgot to set my alarm clock. What were you doing at 8 o'clock this morning? They didn't study hard, so they failed the exam. I wasn't paying attention, so I didn't hear what you said. Were you studying English at 8 o'clock this morning? Yes, it was me. No, I wasn't. What was he doing when you arrived? He was watching TV. I was working when you called me. They were sleeping when I arrived. We were walking when we saw the cat. I was studying when the electricity went out. We were studying for our exams when the fire alarm went off. They were watching a movie when the power went out. We were on our way to the shop when we got lost. I was working in my car when the engine caught fire. I was asleep when the phone rang. We were having a great time at the party. They weren't working hard enough. I wasn't paying attention to the road. I was getting ready for bed when I heard a voice. We were on our way to the airport when we realized we forgot our passports at home. I was about to leave when he called. They were sleeping when the earthquake happened. He was doing his homework when I called him. He was watching TV when I got home. I was taking a shower when the doorbell rang. They were arguing when I got home. I was reading a book. I was having lunch. I was talking on the phone. I was doing my homework. I'm making candy. I was watching TV. I was playing video games. I was outside. I was inside. I was at school. I was at home. I was doing laundry when the pipe burst. They were playing cards when the earthquake happened. We were talking when he came. They were playing when it started to rain. You were sleeping when the earthquake happened. I was on my way to work when my tire punctured. I was getting dressed when the phone rang. I was washing the dishes when I cut my finger. He was studying when I called him. They were eating when the electricity went out. They were sleeping when the fire broke out. We were in the car when the accident happened. They were having a party when there was an earthquake. We were getting ready for bed when the dog started barking. I was washing the dishes when I heard a noise outside. He was working in the garden when I saw him. They were playing video games when the earthquake happened. You were doing your homework when I got home. He was taking a bath when the phone rang. He was asleep when the fire started. They were walking home when the dog attacked them. Examples. They were eating when I arrived. He was washing the dishes when I got home. We were dancing when the power went out. I was studying for my exams when you called. I was walking when I saw him. She was cooking when I got home. We were talking when he arrived. They were playing when I got home. We were eating when the electricity went out. He was doing his homework when I got home. He was taking a shower when I called him. I was studying for my exams when the phone rang. We were on our way to the beach when we got lost. I was taking a shower when I heard a noise. He was getting dressed when he heard the doorbell. He was studying for his exam when his friends called him.